Okay guys, so for today's episode, I'm trying to get these shorter and shorter. I'm trying to get them in under about 10 minutes time. What I'm going to make for you guys today is an Icelandic hot dog. This is something I had when I was overseas on our honeymoon. Ironically enough, it's one of Iceland's like national treats, along with ice cream and licorice candy. So they have the diet of like a 1920s like child going to a baseball game. If they had Cracker Jacks, then it'd be complete. It'd be some sort of weird Abbott and Costello-esque song, I feel like. So, what we're going to start with first, I've got some hot dogs simmering in beer. That's kind of how they do it in Iceland. In Iceland, they're going to use mostly a lamb. It's a very fancy hot dog. It tastes like Oscar Mayer. It's not that fancy. I'm using Nathan's because I prefer all beef. I've got a hot dog bun steaming. We're going to go over the toppings, and you got to hang with me because they're weird. But I promise you, this is something where the sum of it is greater than the parts. So right now what we're going to make, really the only preparation we need to do is we're going to make some remoulade. And you'll see this in a lot of Scandinavian countries, and this is kind of a cross between a Danish remoulade and an Icelandic one. So what we've got here is about, that's maybe a cup of mayonnaise, with which I've just sprinkled a little bit of dried parsley on top. I'm going to add 1 chopped shallot, and remoulade is, I don't know, it's not quite tartar sauce, but it's like a mayo-based dressing almost. It's really good. It goes great on fried food. I use this with like boudin balls and stuff like that. I've got about half a tablespoon of capers that are just roughly chopped up. Then I've got about a full tablespoon of chopped up pickles. And you can use any variety you want here. These are just some kosher, or not actually kosher, these are just dill pickles. And then all we're going to do with this is we're going to, you could do this in the blender. Because I've got the immersion, I got the stick blender, I'm going to use this. I always prefer to use this because you can do it in a container you're going to keep it in. So you just kind of minimize that loss factor. Yeah, it's Anakin's lightsaber. I'm that cool. And you're just going to kind of blend this up. I like mine really smooth. Sometimes you could leave chunks in it. It's going to give you more of a tartar sauce type feel. This is also why I like the stick blender, is because you don't have that problem of when you run stuff in a normal blender and it doesn't get eaten up by the teeth. Let's try that and just make sure it's seasoned well. Very happy with that. Very, very, very happy with that. Okay, on to, let's actually just build this thing. Icelandic hot dogs, and you can make your remoulade with whatever you really want. The basis of it is some herbs and some capers. The Danish portion for me was adding the pickles to it. Actually, the Icelandic one does call for chopped gherkins, which are just like the little baby pickles or the cornichons. But your Icelandic hot dog, and this is where it gets weird. Crispy onions. These are just French fried onions. Raw onions. They have a special type of mustard, but it's essentially kind of it's a dark sweet mustard. I've got a sweet hot mustard here that I got. And ketchup. I normally don't do, I do mustard and onions is my typical hot dog. Sometimes I'll do a Chicago dog. Sometimes I'll put kraut on it. But this is truly amazing. French fried onions, sweet hot mustard, raw onions, both types of onions, the crispy and the raw, ketchup, and then this mayo-based remoulade. All just goes on a steam bun and a hot dog. And I promise you it's out of this world amazing. It is insanely good. And it's you try and tell people what it is, especially when you're going there, and you're just like, that sounds disgusting. I'm not going to eat that. It's so good though. I'm just going to use my hands here. I don't want to tear up this lovely bun. So I'm going to go ahead and dress the bun a little bit, because that's how they do it there at, how did you pronounce that? Pilsner, something like that. And it means like Iceland's best hot dog. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay down the, I'm going to lay down a little bit of the remoulade just in the bun here. Making a mess. And then onto that remoulade, I'm going to add my raw onions here. Then I'm going to add my crispy fried onions and just a light sprinkle. If you got to break these up a little bit, that's okay. The textures of this, it's just, oh, it's great. My cravings finally kicked in. You know, we went back over New Year's and I finally had to recreate this. Then we're going to hit our hot dog on top of this. And I've just been braising this in some beer. A little plate wipe there. Got to keep that presentation on fleek. And then I'm just going to give it a stripe of ketchup and a stripe of the sweet mustard. There is nothing fancy about this. It is pure street food. I mean, it's awesome. I give you the Icelandic hot dog. Well, guys, that was probably that is the shortest episode I've done so far. I'm happy about that because I've been wanting to try and keep these under like 7-8 minutes. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Trying to build a fan base here, not only on YouTube, but I'm getting ready. I'm working with one of my friends and collaborators in the comedy community. Actually, this show will also soon be on Soundstooth, which is a new app in which you can enjoy podcast and like this video entertainment. So I'll make sure to keep that subscribers notice out there for that. So stay tuned, guys. Thanks. Bye.